Hello, everyone. We are live, and welcome to Environmental Coffee House with me, your hostess, Sandy Shellis. And tonight I have a guest, Adam Soul. Hi, Adam. Adam is
Hello,
the
everybody.
man behind A World Without Money. And right now, what I'm trying to do is, while I introduce Adam, he's going to tell you a little bit about himself, and then I'm going to share to Facebook groups while people are joining. Adam, I'm really happy to have you here. And I am fascinated by your World Without Money, how you came to this, and also my interpretation, just to begin, is how the beautiful indigenous Native Americans lore is that they plan for 7 generations, and that's how I feel the spiritual connection to your plan. So why don't you, while I share, tell us about yourself a little bit, and while people join. Hello, I got Kim, and I've got, I believe, Antinatalist Cougar. I'm pretty sure I know who it is. So take it away, Adam.
All right. Well, I come on here. Well, about 30 years ago, I began to look at money as a poison, and I know that that doesn't sound very good, but it actually is. It's a perception, and it's not that money is can be
That's beautiful.
actually proved that it's a literal poison.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are able to look at money as a poison, then you can understand why we've done so many terrible things to our world, why we've essentially destroyed our world. And it
Right.
also allows us to forgive each other because because then we understand. I mean, you can't blame somebody for something that they do while they're sick. Some
Yeah.
and that's what's wrong with us. We're essentially sick, and we don't realize it. It causes us to do things, to behave in ways uh, that we think we're right, but we're really wrong. And like for instance, say take a parents, for
Mm-hmm.
instance,
Mm-hmm.
that uh, they get up in the morning and they drive to work and they think have a good feeling in themselves that they're taking care of their children,
Right.
that they're providing a sustainable a future for their children. But the truth is that the cars that they're driving is destroying the future for their children. So and it's very subtle, but so we think we're doing right, but we're really doing wrong.
Yeah.
So so what happens is we've destroyed the world, and you look at the governments and the elite, for instance, and you can imagine that they've probably tried to do everything that they can to figure out how to save the world. And I'm not sure if they've figured it out yet. But one thing they haven't done is they haven't given humanity a chance to try. And I think humanity needs a chance to try. And so I promote the idea that we have humanity's platform on the internet. Because today we have like 4.8 billion people are on the active users on the internet.
Right. 4.8
So
billion, you said? Billion?
billion,
Wow.
billion. So that's
Wow.
over half of us. And I've
Wow.
heard that people in Kenya are Africa are traveling all night long by foot just so they can get access to the internet, just so they can help do something.
What we take
So
for
they're
granted.
right. And statistics show that 20% of the world holds 90% of the world's wealth. Well, pretty much everybody that grows up in North America and other places around the world, we grow up in the world of money. And it gives us the perception that our survival depends on money.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what happens is we end up, we're the ones with enough money See, the 80% of the world, what it means is that 80% of the world divides 10% of the wealth between them.
Yeah.
So if you, yeah. So if you did a calculation of averages, you would see that each person in the 20% has roughly 36 times as much money, and money is power. So you could say that we have 36 times as much power as somebody in the 80%. And it's not fair, because there's a lot of people in the 80% who are extremely intelligent. And the 80% is also much closer, tends to be much closer to nature than us who are in
Sure.
the 80 or 20%. And if we
Got that
grow
right.
up, and if money is a poison, if we can look at it like that, then we see that we're under the most influence of the poison.
Oh, and it's a
And
poison.
so if you look at the people who are the movers and shakers of the world, the people who actually make the decisions of the world, they are the highest ones up there. They're in the 20%, and they're the most affected. I mean, the school systems, everything that has been designed, everything that's taken over the world has been for the purpose of making money. I
Is
mean,
that
if you look at,
underneath every system? Capitalism and communism and socialism and democratic socialism, or is it more of a really ultra capitalist, uh, affliction, so to speak?
well, I personally, I think it's just money. It's the way money works on us. And I've been writing a story I call The Law of Life, that I'm putting on my website, that explains this. And so it's a little bit, it takes a little bit of time to explain it, but
Sure.
essentially, what happens is, what I think happened is, a long time ago, before civilization began, well, about almost 12,000 years ago, there was a fragmented comet hit our planet. And before then, science and anthropology says that we lived on the Earth for about 315,000 years. That was as our Homo sapiens species.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I think we lived in actually, we had good lives, I think. And we were growing and maturing as a species. And then we got hit by this fragmented comet, and it changed our world. It destroyed the large animals that we used to live with.
Yeah.
And we used to live with giant animals. I mean, not just the mastodons but we lived with, there were huge animals, and there were saber-toothed cats and tigers, anyway, huge animals. And I think that for the most part, we got along with them. And then I think what happened is we eventually started turning animals. Well, it sent our people into an ice age. It's called the Younger Dryas Ice Age.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The fragmented comet started the Younger Dryas Ice Age. And when we come out of the Ice Age, about 11,500 years ago, that's when the age of agriculture began. So, and pretty much all over the world, people, our hunter-gatherer ancestors, changed to agriculture. But there was one part of the world where they not only did agriculture, but a couple thousand years later, they started herding animals. And when they started herding animals, I think there's a big difference, because there's a big difference between hunting an animal with respect and being, respectful,
Mm-hmm.
and grabbing an animal out of your herd and killing it to eat it. It's like these people would have lived in sparse areas, and they might not have seen people for a couple of days at a time.
Right.
And their children, especially, would have become close to these animals. So when somebody grabs an animal out of the herd, or their father grabs an animal out of the herd and kills it and eats it, their
Right.
children are going to be going, "Well, why'd you kill our friend?" you know.
Mm.
And so what what they'd have to do is harden their hearts, and so that even Joseph Campbell, who is a great writer about anthropology, he even said that the herders became fierce. They became very fierce, and they became more patriarchal
Mm-hmm.
and in nature. And so anyway, and the agricultural people were more matriarchal because they were closer to the earth. So anyway, what I'm trying to say here is that I think that we turned animals into the first form of money because we
For
became
sure.
uh, hard-hearted. We hardened our hearts. We lost our respect for life, for animals. It transferred over to people, and we started trading animals. I think our first time we started trading them for slaves, and I think that's essentially when this poison could have entered us. And so I mean, it's possible. And it's not provable, but a lot of things aren't provable. I mean, for instance, the Gaia theory, thinking that Mother Earth is a living thing. Well, to we can't prove that she's a living entity,
Right.
but if we have the perception, if we allow ourselves to say, well, hypothetically speaking, if she is a living thing, then that gives us the right way of looking at her. It helps us to treat her correctly because we'll probably never know. So, um, so that's kind of how it all began. And I think that humanity needs a chance to, um, to try to save the world. Elon Musk is creating this Starlinks, and I think next year he's supposed to be going live with it, and will start giving internet access to people around the world, and it'll get better. But before then, I think we may be running out of time. So I think it's important that humanity get together and start uh, developing our own plan.
Well,
And so
what kind of
I've been looking
plan?
at, okay, so we plan for how to get out of this
Mm-hmm.
mess. We plan a new vision for the future. And what it is it's a vision of a sustainable future for the world. And everybody's included. And
All
I know
8
this sounds,
billion people or more.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I think everybody should be included. So, see, humanity has, the dynamics have changed
Okay.
of humanities. So, I mean, since 1972, we've doubled our population.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure have.
since 71, we've added 4 billion people to the earth. So
Jesus.
that's a
Mm.
lot. I mean,
I added one.
that, I know, and it's just it essentially what we've done is we've become unmovable. So humanity has become unmovable.
Right.
So even if say the elite or whoever's in charge wanted to make humanity, if they wanted to save the world, everybody's going in different directions so much that how could we save the world? I mean, how could
Hmm.
humanity be moved to organize
Well, we're not doing a
and
very good job of it, are we?
wouldn't be able to? No, no. So what I'm suggesting is we have a platform made for humanity on the internet, and we use technology. We use artificial intelligence if we have to.
Mm-hmm.
We've got really good high speed internet technology and um, uh, processing technologies
Right.
that we can use. I mean, we could come on the internet and people could meet face to face without a language barrier. That'd be the first time in the history of the world I mean, people could talk to people all over the world face to face with instantaneous voice translation software.
Kind of like, well, we've been doing a lot of that during this pandemic.
Yes.
But there is
Yes.
one thing. People feel, and Jilly had mentioned this earlier, that the government would love cashless society where all can be tracked. And that's the how do you deal with the I mean, a world without money, but how do you deal with the people that, will say, but Adam, if it's online or if it's all computerized, let's go there a little bit. We'll jump ahead a little.
Okay. So the important part is making the plan, the vision.
Mm-hmm.
I call it a vision, a plan, a
Yep.
design. It's all the same thing. Um, uh, you make a plan for what we're going to do, for how we would go about, uh, you know, obtaining, having. We make a plan for how to have a sustainable future, how we would live. Okay, so what makes it possible to make that plan
Yeah.
is what you're doing is you're designing the future. So what makes it possible to design it is to eliminate money. Just take money out of the equation.
Wouldn't it be
Because if you
nice?
try, yeah, because I mean, just hypothetically, now if you remove money, then all of a sudden you don't have to include all those complex calculations and all the complexities and everything. And the thing is, the 80% of the world, the third world countries who are much closer to
Mm-hmm.
nature than we are,
Mm-hmm.
would be much more likely to see living in a world without money. And I don't know many of them myself, but I've talked to homeless people quite a few times,
Mm-hmm.
and I find that the homeless people here in the United States are like, oh, wait, yeah, we could definitely live in a world without money. I mean, it just makes a lot of sense
Adam,
because,
so you were kind of inspired by Jacques Fresco. Were you inspired by and
yeah,
there's a money free party? And how did you actually in the beginning, like, who are you, Adam? How did this all come out of you? Tell us who you are.
well, I retired about almost 3 years ago. I had heard about abrupt climate change, and it inspired me to do something because I knew that money was a poison in a sense, and so I knew that humanity needed to know this somehow,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't know how it would work. And so I retired early so I could find out.
Wow.
And then I met somebody who I found out, that we could do, that, well, I live in the land of Microsoft and Google, and I kind of learned through osmosis that we have these capabilities. And then
Ah.
I learned from someone that we could actually use artificial intelligence. But I've always been against artificial intelligence, and I'm afraid of it. And I think that, so I know I'm jumping around here, but I
No, it's
think that
okay. It's okay.
our,
Free
our
associate.
Mother Earth,
Yes.
our Mother Earth is, I think she talks to us in a way.
So cute.
And I know it's, I think that she talks to
That's
us
to
in the way
me.
I think she talks to us, and the way she talks to us is that she gives us ideas. And I've heard that there's many uh, people who think of, you know, inventors who say that they got their inventions that came to them in a dream at night. You know, that we're
Yeah.
inspired. We suddenly come are given this information, and I think that, you know, that here we are at this day and age now, and we have this potential for artificial intelligence. And I think that our Mother Earth may not want us to actually, she doesn't want us to perish. She wants us to wake up and understand what we've done. So,
I can see that.
I think she gave us this artificial intelligence to use.
Really. Well, yeah, when you think about humans and technology, and people say, okay, technology, the Green New Deal or whatever, it's bad, it's going to be bad, but because it's just going to be more consumption or it's going to be business as usual, it's going to be more growth, blah, blah, blah. But we're not going to stop. We're not going to stop learning, inventing, making, doing until either A, we have destroyed the planet 100% and we go extinct, but along the way, technology, as you're saying, could be used in a positive, transformational way
Right?
with the political will. And the thing is, it's not going to happen with a Donald Trump in office.
Well, it could happen because we
Yeah,
could, if we could do it on humanity's platform.
that's what I read.
It, if we had
Humanity's
a
platform.
platform of our own that wasn't that didn't wasn't affiliated with money, it was paid for solely by our own contributions, and it would be on a sliding scale, so there wouldn't be any advertising. So it would be a place where we would, and it would be where a place where everybody could be equal. So, and
Utopia.
I think even with you credentials, I think everybody would just be a person, and we would use the intelligence. We would have professionals, on the platform that would help us, but essentially we would meet in teams and discover, and figure out how we were going to just design the sustainable future.
Who's
And we
we?
would use the art of people all over the world.
How do you get the political
Anybody who
will?
wanted to join.
So you
Well,
could join the
yeah,
groups like the Sunrise Movement, all of the kids and all of the people, and try to bring them all together. Because remember, in the beginning, we were talking about how there's just so many groups, so many
yeah,
factions out there.
and they're not tied together. That's the problem. I mean, all the environmental groups, all seem to be going in their own directions.
Yeah.
And if they would just were able to join together, they could be a lot more powerful.
I wonder if XR, have you talked to XR about your thoughts and your
I
proposal for?
have,
Okay, cool.
I have, and I'm getting, I'm trying to get some more uh, information going there. In fact, I've got three Zoom videos that I'm doing the next few weeks. Or, well, actually, the next Friday, I'm doing one from 12 to 1:30 Pacific time, and I think that's 8 to 9:30, I think, London time. And then Monday, I'm doing one at the same time, and Wednesday, I'm doing one at the same time. So if you want to join, just all I have to do is email me, and I'll send you a
Yeah, I'll
link.
put it up. I wanted to read you a quick comment from Amy. Amy Lynn, she says, it'll never happen. Nice dream, but sorry. But I understand, Amy. I mean, I kind of have that, I lean towards we'll never really do anything, like you
Yeah.
say, because we're not going to be able to with all of the problems. But as long as there's people that have dreams and have, goals, I suppose it's going to keep going, and it might as well be positive, right? And I'm going to show your page while you're talking.
Well, it is doable because all we need is to build a platform for humanity to come to because they need a place to come. So once we have this plan made, then we'll have a plan because we don't have one now. I mean, there's no plans out there that'll give us a plan for the way out. So if we have a plan, then instead of having the collapse of civilization, we'll have another way to go. And so instead of having the collapse of civilization, we could have a controlled, or we could have a transition. So what we need, what humanity needs is a sustainable future. So how could we have a sustainable future? Well, we design it first. And then instead of having the collapse of civilization, we have a transition into our new sustainable future while
really
backup
think
systems
so?
while backup systems are in place.
What are the backup
Yeah.
systems?
We would have a little bit of electricity that we would get from hydroelectric or solar power. However, that would be all built into the plan.
Okay.
And there's other kinds of electricity too that we could prepare for, and we would prepare for ways to eat. How are we going to feed this many people?
Do you think, wait,
You know,
okay, this many people? It sounds to me, and I'm looking, as you look, or as my genre, we look at science, we look at the future, we don't see this many people. I mean, I know I will never be in this world without money. I'll be dead, and I say this all the time. Maybe my child could have a chance, but it's not going to be 8 million people. I can see this being a plan for the survivors of whatever apocalypse or mess is happening, but is that anything along your line of thinking, or am I interjecting my kind of negative spin here, since I don't always see the seventh generation because
yeah.
well, look what we're doing. I mean, as humans, we're destroying the planet every which way we possibly can. But you have a plan, but I just don't see it being for 8 million.
It wouldn't take 8 million people to make the plan. I mean,
No, to even be part of the plan.
it's not that. You see, we're not
I'm throwing you off.
People that came on the platform. If we
Yes.
had humanity's platform,
Yes.
it would be a place where everybody could put their ideas, and essentially they'd go into a hopper and they'd all be mixed in together, and
Okay.
then they'd come out and start telling us what our best options were. So they
Okay.
would, and then we would select what our best options were, and we would use standard details and build this plan so that we could figure out what kind of electricity we would use, and how things would progress. And if we eliminate money, then we can actually do this.
Yeah.
So once we have a plan, that's the important part. It's not whether everybody goes along. The thing is, if we have a plan, then we'll have something to follow, because we don't have anything to follow right now. So say the collapse
That
of
makes
civilization came.
Mm-hmm.
So say the collapse of civilization came.
Yeah.
What would we do? We wouldn't know what to do.
No, and people say there would be marauding hoarders of cannibals and
Right.
people, unless there was a
Right.
plan. But how do you, the buy-in for a plan? your plan, the kind of plan you're proposing, got nothing to lose.
Yeah. I mean, all I'm saying is we make a plan, because after we have a plan, then say the collapse of civilization is coming and it's getting closer and closer.
Mm-hmm.
And people are, so we're not worrying on the platform, people who want to make the plan,
Right.
which would be a few of us, not a lot, not everybody, but a
Mm-hmm.
few of us. Uh, we wouldn't worry about changing humanity. We don't have to worry about that. We would worry about letting Mother Earth change humanity, because
So no matter what,
as the
like, yeah, I see. Mother Earth
uh,
meaning extreme weather
yeah,
events or disease or
yeah,
whatever happens, and when the smoke clears, there's a plan to follow
right,
if there's
then
technology. And there
right,
probably will be because that's human, but not fossil
right.
fuel technology. What did Val say? We have, oh, humanity has to go into a 12-step program, admit we are addicted to oil and greed and money. It's like taking the step when you go to AA, I am
Yeah,
addicted to oil and greed and money, and
yeah.
I need help. Well, we're all in that boat, and some of us that don't want to be in that boat, what other choice do we have? Because right now, the only way you live without having money is on the street as a homeless person, at least in the United States.
Well, we're the ones that are making all the decisions. I mean, and we're coming up with no answers. And we're basically saying,
Yeah.
because of that, we're basically saying, well, the time's up and we're
Hmm.
giving up. And that's not fair, because we haven't given the rest of the world a chance to try. So
Yeah,
humanity
the
needs
rest
a
of the world.
platform of its own, so that everybody can try.
Hmm.
Everybody can put their ideas into this hopper, and then we can figure it out. And once we have a plan, and as a collapse of civilization is getting closer and Mother Earth is screaming louder and louder,
Mm.
then more and more people start saying, well, you know what? There's a plan over here. Now, it is a world without money, but it's a better choice than than the collapse of civilization and that horrible picture.
Which is like what
It's
Trent
a
just said. Trent says our followers are imaginative. Do I get to be one of the marauding hordes of cannibals? I promise to be environmentally friendly, and I swear I won't feed any of you or any part of you to my starving dog. I mean, people think this way, Adam. You know that in this in because they're scared and because they see the evidence of abrupt climate change and the Arctic melting and all the things that are happening. I mean, how do we account in a world without money? Um, how does it? How do we account for survival? I guess without money in that world that's coming up.
Okay, so we design the future as we make it so that we design a future to be a sustainable future for the children of the world.
And sustainable in
That,
which ways? In
well,
green,
it's
in
we make sure that they can live,
okay.
that the children can of the world can live, because that would be the defining parameter.
Yes.
That's the measuring stick. That everything, all of our ideas that go into the hopper
Mm-hmm.
are measured when everything that comes out is all measured against the measuring stick of providing a sustainable future for the children of the world.
And there will
Because if
be
they,
children of the world. People haven't
yeah,
stopped doing that.
right, and so that ensures the continuation of humanity. That's what we're doing. We're not designing it for ourselves. We're not designing the future for ourselves.
Right.
I mean, we get to go along, but we're not designing the future for ourselves. We're designing it for somebody else. We're designing it for the children of the world.
Do you think that's been done? No. It never
No,
sounds like that ever is done. Whenever the
no.
politicians talk about anything, and they never say, well, this is for the future generations. No, this is for us so we can just spend for growth, 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 unlimited growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I- Money is insane. It causes us to do just really insane things, like like uh, proliferating the nuclear power industry before we even knew how to dispose of radioactive waste. Is that insanity?
Well, that's part of the insanity of being human and having technological brains. The people that have designed nuclear energy and all do not think that they're designing anything wrong. They think that they're in the right and that this is clean, green energy, even though you're mining uranium. But you're
Well,
right.
that's
It,
what
it
they
was like
say, but
putting the
really
cart
they do
before
it
the
for
horse.
money.
Yeah. Money.
They do it for money. I mean, uh, somebody, and I'm not blaming anybody that's wealthy. It's just that we all grow up learning how
Right.
to survive in in the life that we grow up in.
Yeah.
So we end up buying or doing whatever we have to. We grow up in this world of money, and we learn that our survival depends on money, and that gives us the perception that our survival depends on money. So that's a false perception because our survival truly depends on nature, not money. I mean, it really depends on photosynthesis and those kind of things. It doesn't depend on money. We can't eat money. But with so if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of human needs,
Mm-hmm.
you can
Oh,
see
I
that
have.
our our people, the Homo, uh, our hunter and gatherer ancestors, uh, they lived. The base of their pyramid was nature for like 300,000 years. Well, now since we've started using money, and our perception is that our survival depends on money. Well, the base of our pyramid is built on money, and we've taken nature and put it up higher on the hierarchy of human needs.
Mm-hmm. When
So
was?
we
Oh,
don't think
I'm
about
sorry.
nature very much anymore.
No. When was money developed with the gold standard, and it was which culture actually? Right after you were talking about animals, you were talking about the flesh and the well, but I'm and hunters, but I'm talking about actual tradable money. What? What?
And
When was that? Before that was before Christ, BC times.
yeah, I think it was about like 2,500 years
Wow.
ago or so, and
Wow.
it was the area of Mesopotamia.
Yeah.
So you
Tinkos.
look at that. That's like the eastern Mediterranean area,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and if you see, that's where civilization began. And then we see that civilization began with money. I mean, and it spread out with money. That so when since we before we were when we were hunters and gatherers,
Mm-hmm.
anthropologists say that we were generally got along with each other, that we didn't fight amongst our individual clans. We didn't even war or fight with Neanderthals and other clans that lived people that lived next to us.
Mm.
Uh, but so it's not really in our nature. But money has made us fierce. It's changed our mindsets, and so
Good
it's
money.
caused us uh, to conquer and battle and turn into uh, really fierce types of people. And so if you look from Mesopotamia and you look back at the history of humanity on Earth, you see that it spread from there. And you see that the East invaded the West. You see that money has spread out all over the world. And now, if you look down from space today, you see the concrete jungle that we've spread all over the world today.
Yeah.
And at night, it looks like glowing embers.
So if we're going to have an internet AI kind of future, what will that look like then? Everybody in their little enclaves using an internet connection? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be, I'm not snarky. I mean, seriously, I'm
No.
envisioning this, and I know you're going to get these kind of questions when, as you broaden your horizons.
Well, let me finish this answer first.
I'm sorry.
So that's all right. I'll come back to it. But so if we look at this concrete jungle that's spread all over the world now, that concrete jungle is a picture of the annihilation of nature. Mm. It really is. It's a picture of how we've destroyed nature. Well, that concrete jungle has been made for the purpose of making money. It's the whole life we've built out of making money, and we've only done this since we started using money. So that's not very long. I mean, if you look at the whole time that, I mean, I think our Mother Earth started making us after the fifth mass extinction, when the dinosaurs were destroyed. I mean, that's when she started developing our intelligent gene. And I think that our intelligence was developed like making a samurai sword. It was developed over many layers of hammering and folding the steel. And so I think she developed our intelligence through the layers of many different species of animals and of life. And it eventually, finally she developed ours. And so the concrete jungle is a picture of what we've done to destroy the world. And your next question was, how are we going to get humanity to go along with this? Is it basically what you're saying? Okay. So like I said, it doesn't have to be everybody. And, I'm hoping that someone in the elite will come up and will step up to the plate and let's get a platform for humanity made. And we need to, because we need to get it done quickly. And I think with the artificial intelligence and stuff, we can get it done quickly, because nobody ever considers a world without money.
No, they don't.
We think it's impossible. So we don't think that there's a way out. But if you look at a world without money, you can see that there possibly is a way out. But we don't see it because we grow up in the world of money. And we don't see it.
So what's your next step? What do you think your next step is in who are you networking with, and to get this wonderful message, this plan idea out? I know you were with Jamin Shively. Is that how you pronounce it? Shively? And he is always brimming with ideas and putting people together, and it's just, it's always fascinating to watch what's going on over there. But also, do you have your fingers in the till of any political figures who might have these kind of ideas and say, I think like this, but they're afraid to commit to it?
No, truth is, my idea is so often rejected before it's even understood that I haven't gotten very far. And
well, you're here, and we're not rejecting it. We're listening to it and trying to learn. And this is great because we do have a decent audience here, and there's so many beautiful people in the audience, and you're one of them. And I understand where you're coming from. Your name is perfect for you, Adam Soul. I mean, you're perfect. You're coming from your heart and your love of the earth. And see, that's what touched me about you. It's a spiritual. Somebody had said something earlier in the comments, and Jean said, I'll help you, Adam Soul, as I can in my small way. So people will come to your website, and Scott says he can so relate to you, and Matt says, I'm with you, Adam, let's hear more. So this is good. We have a really great audience, and even if it's a really tough issue or really unpalpable for some, we're still open. We're still open to learning, right, everybody? And that's what they're telling us, Adam. Different crew than who follows Jamin, but a great crew here.
Right on. Well, I'm having problems with my website, so if you try to get on there and it doesn't work, then that's because I'm working on it right now. And
well, I'm pulling it up, and I have it right on right now where people can see your website, and because we're approaching like 46 minutes, so I wanted to get that up again. I had it before. You have a meeting on Monday the 22nd from 12 to 1:30, which is Pacific time, and it's a discussion that anybody can join on Zoom for the Need for Humanity's internet platform and how it can be obtained, because this is a project for everyone that's interested, that feels that they could participate and want to participate. It's for everyone. And I know, Adam, you had also talked about touching different communities, not just people that look like you and me.
Right.
You want to expound on that a little bit?
I've been tweeting, and talking to different XR peoples from Uganda and around the world, and I just I try to get my tweets out there. That's Adam Soul, and I don't know. I'm just one person, so I'm just trying to do the best I can here. But I think that a lot of people can do a lot more than I can. I'm just trying to.
But it's an idea.
Put this idea out there, because once we have a plan made, we could, then people have a choice. They have the choice of life. And right now we don't have a choice. So, and what makes it possible to make the plan is to make it as a world without money. Because when we have a world without money, it's a different mindset. It's a mindset that, instead of thinking about what we can afford and just trying to fix the world by what we can afford, we make a plan for everything that has to be done to fix the world. And the measuring stick is that we're making a place for the sustainable future of the children of mankind, of the world.
And it's not selfish. And I had your components of the chip. I had it up. Did you want to talk a little bit about that? Or I had it up to show that there is, you're starting to have these plan documents, so to speak, and the components where you have it. I know it's probably hard for you to see but you have the chi in the middle, which is the components, and tracking conversations and climate ecology and modeling and safe AI. And so it's kind of like a spreadsheet to follow, and it's a plan. And I think that everybody here would probably be interested to learn more about it in one of your Zoom sessions, because we don't have enough time to go into it all. But like I said, the next one, you have another one tomorrow. 12 o'clock.
I'm having it Friday and Monday and Wednesday.
Well, I'm going to put
and then I'll plan some more, and we'll go from there.
You're such a lovely person. You're a very lovely person, and your idea, it's from the heart, and it's beautiful. And I'd love a world without money. I don't have much left anyway. But the whole point is, it would be, I think, a lot of us, in all cultures all over the world, even the cultures that don't use a lot. I mean, I was talking the other day with my husband about a culture, and I said to him that I was reading about, I said, honey, he's complaining. I said, they're making $400 and like $13, that's their yearly wage. But of course, that doesn't take into consideration their cost of living and how they live. But who needs all the shit that we live with anymore? And I mean, I'm
Right.
wearing it. I have clothes, and I've been brainwashed and conditioned my whole life that I've needed all this stuff. And you're giving us a plan for the future where all of this won't be needed, and it's just about living and enjoying your life. And part of the I see part of the journey living without money is how you can give to others, how humans
Right.
can be giving and
Well,
caring, and
look
no
at Extinction
wars.
Rebellion. I mean, look at Extinction Rebellion. Those kids are not going to school on Fridays because they're rebelling. They want to live, and I
Yep,
don't blame them.
yep,
They want a sustainable future, and they are willing to do. They're asking us adults to give them a sustainable
yep.
future, and we're not doing it. And the reason we're not doing it is because we're only doing what we can afford. So I'm saying,
Yeah,
let's stop trying to do it. Stop trying to change the world. Just make a vision. Just make a
a
picture
vision.
of what the world would be like, because of how we could actually change and provide that sustainable future. Because as the collapse is approaching, people are going to get more and more scared. And there's a big difference in the countenance of a person who stands up and says that they would do such and such if they came down with cancer,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
and another day when they walk out of their doctor's office with their terminal diagnosis in their hands. There's a big difference in countenance, and that's what's going to happen to humanity. There's going to be a big difference in countenance.
I'm taking it all in. And there's also some good comments. Matt says, had we actually done the Zeitgeist plan a decade ago, we might not even be doomers. Nothing has been so so depressing for me as this. But at the same time, Matt, depressing. You've changed your life. He's changed his life. He's a vegan. He teaches people. He teaches other people. He's going to come on our channel. Um, I know it. It's just he knows I procrastinate. Everybody does. How long have we been talking about this, Adam? A year? And
Yeah.
we're finally doing it. Adam was upset. He thought I was like not wanting to do it. I'm like, everybody that knows me knows I am a huge procrastinator. But I look at it and I say quality over quantity. And so if I have 3 guests a year, I've got quality. And you are in the family. You're in the Environmental Coffee House family. And we're going to put in all of the links. And Scott just said, a big difference in countenance. Nice, Adam. Yeah. So you're going to come back and we're going to flesh this out again and maybe go into, the next piece because you have so much written that I would love to do a part 2 where we talk about maybe spiritual aspects of this, bringing in more diversity in communities like XR is trying to do. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's excellent. And it's after I get uh, some of these Zoom meetings that I'm putting on, that
Mm-hmm.
get more people involved and really get something going here.
Yeah.
We just need to get humanity's platform, and we could start out with smaller too. We don't need a full-fledged platform, and I've probably overestimated the expense of it. But one thing I wanted to say about artificial intelligence is,
Mm-hmm.
on the platform, if humanity had a platform of its own, we could use an artificial intelligence safely on there by keeping it totally off the grid and totally off, no finances, no money whatsoever involved with
There's
the.
no money in my
So
show, my platform.
yeah.
I never asked for it, and I don't have much, but here I am. Hey,
So then we could use the artificial intelligence to tell us how to fix our Mother Earth, because the damage that we've done is so extensive that we're
yeah,
essentially going to have to operate on our planet. And in order to operate correctly, we're going to have to use an artificial intelligence, probably is going to have to tell us how to do that. And humanity is going to have to become movable. So we're going to, at some point, instead of having the collapse of civilization, by having a plan, we'll have a choice, the choice of life. And then people will choose the choice of life.
I get it.
Because their countenance will be ready to change. But we have to have the plan first. If we don't have a plan, then we don't have anything to offer them.
Well, what do you do? I know we've been on a while, but here I have this wild thought, and then we're going to end. But and we'll save it for part deux. With the people that we're looking at an ugly world right now in the United States, and the hatred, and we have. And I don't mean to end on a downer, but we have to really work on this epidemic of heightened hatred and killing. Our country's never, maybe not ever been the country we'd have liked to think it was. We kind of founded on this, but maybe we'll think about how do we fold that in, and I guess social justice into the platform, because there's going to have to be obviously a social justice component, right?
In humanity's platform?
Mm-hmm. And AI would account for that. Social justice meaning that people don't war and fight. Part of humanity, unfortunately, is what we're seeing now in the streets. Fighting.
Well, I think that if humanity had a platform of its own, all ideas could go in. It would be a place for people to put their ideas. Because there's a lot of ideas out there. Everybody has their own opinions on how things should work, and all of those could go into like I said, into a hopper, and be mixed together. And then so it would be a place where we could all speak and all have a part. Does that answer your question?
It does answer my question. I will flesh out more in my mind as I read on. I think that there are people that I would love to see you network with, and it's just it's a lovely concept. And could it happen? And we could never say never. Even if we do feel like the long term, which I've always said, I don't see the long term as being very positive for us as a species, but we're not there yet. So let's make a plan.
Right. Make a plan.
Yeah.
That's what we need to do. Right.
All right, guys. What do you think out there? We have Adam come back, and maybe some of you, if you are able to, could join a Zoom conversation. I told him I would try that. It is so hard for me to do this and anything. It's that time of year, that I have to be outside, and then I'm laying. I hurt for 2 days. La 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 la. My. Where's the violin for Sandy? There is none. But I know Rich says the damage we've done is terminal. Yeah, but terminal doesn't tell you how long. So there's that time being between now and terminal, right? So you make it the best you can. I guess that's how you have to see it.
It may be terminal, but we don't consider a world without money. So we don't consider how we could actually operate on our planet. What could we actually do to bring her back in line, to make her so we can have a sustainable future for the children of the world?
Kick off the 1%.
We're the only ones that have been given the charge to make all the decisions. So this is a way for humanity to put all its ideas into one place, and then we can make the decisions.
Well, I have a beautiful ending for you from Jean, who is from Costa Rica, who is very special to all of us, as she's a teacher and just a beautiful human being like everybody else. Wendy Sue Hawkins also is my sister from another mother. We know ourselves from zero. This is a great group. Kim and John and Pat Unruh and I all the names. I love you all. We'll end with Jean. She said, please tell Adam, that many are interested in supporting his work and thank him for his passion. So I
Thank
want to
you.
thank you and Adam, parting little something before we end for the night.
Me, just let's do it.
Let's do it.
You know,
Hey,
let's do it.
let's do it. I'll put
Let's make
up
a
all the
plan.
stuff, and if you guys want to join in, Adam is an open book. It's great, and I'll try.
We need a
I will
platform.
try. We're gonna do okay. An open. That's right. I'm saying the platform is about to be written. Good ideas will prevail. Peace, everybody. Thank you for coming. We really love you. And I'm going to play the little goodbye song. Thank you, Adam. This was